Early childhood music is fun. Early childhood music is important for many, many reasons. Musically, there is one goal for early childhood music, and that goal is to put musical structures into the child's mind. To give children the informal musical experiences and education to understand intuitively the musical structures of our culture, which are based on duple meters and triple meters in 4 and 8 and 16 bar phrases, and harmonies that are grounded on tonic, on a home tone. This video will help you understand the structure of music and how the music of Listen, Move, Think is composed to highlight those structures, and how the variants of the music remove phrases, parts of phrases that will cue the mind to fill in the blank, to fill in the remaining part of the musical phrase, and this is going to increase the child's musical intelligence in a very systematic and concrete way. Let's begin our discussion with the idea of a phrase. Now, a musical phrase, as you can see in this graphic, is a very long compared to its parts and pieces. To every musical phrase, there's going to be an antecedent, a question, and there's going to be a consequence, an answer. The antecedent, as you can see from how I've drawn it, it goes up generally in pitch. The antecedent goes up, and the consequence goes down. When we ask a question, we usually inflect it going up, and the answer comes down. Notice that the musical phrase ends with this explosion, and that explosion is called a cadence. The cadence is important to divide one musical phrase from another. You hear musical cadences all the time, and I will explain that to you, or at least tell you what you're listening to, and I know you've listened to musical phrases in the past. You have to. Let's take this idea of antecedent and consequence to a familiar chant, or rhyme, or song. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. The first part, as you can see, is the antecedent, and the second half is the consequence, ending on a cadence, that red explosion. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Antecedent, consequence, cadence. It is the cadence that is most important. Let's look at this in terms of musical example. You can't see the music, but there's notation. Well, you can't see the words, that's what I meant, but you can see the notation. This is Johnny works with one hammer. Johnny works with one hammer, one hammer, one hammer. That's the first half. Johnny works with one hammer, then he works with two. Cadence. Johnny works with one hammer, one hammer, one hammer. Johnny works with one hammer, then he works with two. Cadence. Johnny works with one hammer, one hammer, one hammer. First half, second half. Johnny works with one hammer, then he works with two. Second half. Antecedent and consequence. What would happen if we took away part of it? Then the music would not be predictable. What if I said, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you look like? every child is going to say R because they know the word is R. They're expecting the word R. So if you said look like, they're going to say R. And that's what we want them to do. We want them to expect something. Music is extremely predictable, and we can set up those musical expectations very, very easily. So setting up the expectations is one thing, but messing up the expectations is another thing. And here's how we're going to do it.